If I was starting in fly fishing all over again, these are the things that I would buy first. Now understanding exactly what good fly fishing kit is, how to have more fun, how to avoid mistakes, and how to catch fish. In this video, I'm going to dive into the things that I think you need for a great setup, the foundations. None of the accessories, just what you need to actually go fly fishing and have a good setup. Let's jump into it right now. Number one, going to be an obvious one, your rod. Now, we've had a bunch of debates recently in the comments as to what a good rod is, having a look at some of the cheaper rods that I've been buying off of cheaper marketplaces recently, but ultimately, fly fishing is determined on how good your rod is. How well do you get on with your own rod? And it really comes down to the individual. That's what I want to cover in this video. This is for beginners, and beginners need to understand that a rod is very much unique to you. If you are a person who is quite strong, then that means that your rod might actually be a little bit too gentle and too delicate for you. So in fly fishing, a rod is extremely important to customize to yourself. Fly fishing should not be jumped into too heavily. I would say try and slow down at the start. Go in person to a fly fishing shop or a store that has fly fishing merchandise and try out your rod before you buy it. If you're brand new into fly fishing, you've never really done much casting before. So trying to just immediately get a rod and get out onto a lake is a good idea. But if you can get there with someone that's experienced and that can at least show you a little bit of the stuff that a rod has to offer, that's a really good thing to have. Even if you've never cast before, if you go to a fishing shop and you say, I'm brand new to fly fishing, I want to try a rod, that's going to give you so much more experience than you would have had if you didn't go and try that in person. So if I was starting all over again and I knew nothing about fly fishing, that's how I would approach it. Getting in store and trying out your rod first. It'll teach you everything you need to know. Next up, the obvious second, is your reel. A fly fishing reel is effectively just a holder for your line. It's actually not nearly as important as you would think. However, if anything ever goes wrong with your reel, it's very difficult to undo that. So if you get a tangle in your reel and you don't understand how your reel works, then that's kind of a problem because you're no longer going to be able to feed your line out. Everything that you need to actually cast and catch fish is on that reel. So if your reel has an issue with it, then that's going to be a major problem. So I would suggest, well, you don't really need to do the same approach that I would have with a rod. If I was starting, I would try and watch specific videos on YouTube on my reel before I go and start using it. Because if you're going to go out with your reel, it's very common that most reels have some sort of element that you can detach the reel from it. So if you get a tangle in your line, which is going to be more common if you're brand new to fly fishing, then if you've watched a video ahead of time to see I can detach a reel, I can actually unspool the line to get it out of the way and then untangle the line, then that's really huge. Not only that, but it helps you set up your reel correctly. If you've got a brand new reel and all of the extra bits of line that come with it, back in and fly line, then if you've watched a video on how to set that up properly, you're going to be set up for success before you go out. So the two bits of kit so far that we've covered is a good rod that you understand and is unique to you is the key, and then a reel that you've looked into and now understand how it works, so that if anything goes wrong, you know exactly what to do. You can have more fun fishing. Now, the third thing for a great setup is the line. Fly fishing line and your rod are arguably the two most important things when you're fly fishing. If you can have fun just casting your rod, you're inherently going to catch more fish because you're having fun just fishing. Fly fishing is so special in the fact that we have to get much better at the casting style. Doing a regular form of fishing like spinning or bait fishing, the casting is very one-dimensional. You throw it out. It's not really something that you can get hugely better. There are some people that are much better at it than others, and as you get more advanced, you get better at casting. But I would say a good way of describing fly fishing casting is that the floor is much lower and the ceiling is much higher. in terms of skill. Now, when you first start, obviously you're going to be at the bottom of that floor. You've never cast before. So casting a fly rod is very difficult, and getting to the top is difficult if you don't have the right gear. And the two most important bits of gear for fly casting are your rod and your fly line. So that's why we're talking about the fly line right now. To get a good fly line, it's quite difficult to do that at the start without understanding what a fly line is. So my recommendation in this video would again be similar to the first one. Talk to people at a angling store or even online about individual fly lines, because fly lines are very different depending on the rod that you're using. Some people, everyone will start with a floating line, as they should. It's the best type of line. But if you were to use a very heavy floater that has a big shooting head on it, or it has a heavy weight forward line, as opposed to a lighter line that might be not as big of a weight forward, it might not have as much weight in the front of that line, then it's going to be harder to cast that lighter line. Or if you've got a different casting style, it may be harder to cast the heavier line. You're only going to know which is the case if you talk to someone in person. So I would say again, try out a line before you buy it. There will be a way that most shops will give you a shot of a line before you go out and buy it, because these lines are quite expensive for the most part, especially the good ones. So if you want to try and maximize your experience and the fun that you're going to get out of a fly line, try it before you buy it. That's really essential. Now, those are the three things that seem quite obvious to get a really great setup, but the key in this video that I was trying to get at is how you go about getting them. If you willy-nilly buy any fly rod, any reel and any line before you go out fishing, you're guaranteed to have some sort of issue go along the way, and it might even stunt how much fun you have while you're fly fishing and stop you going fishing in the future. So to try and get as much fun out of the sport, try and take your time when you're buying your first fly rod, fly reel and fly line, and investigate every element of each of them. For me, it's part of the fun. Like, I wish I was back at the start again, because getting into fly rods and fly reels and fly lines is so exciting. I'm such a fly fishing nerd that I love all of that stuff. So I hope this video was useful in terms of how I would now approach fly fishing if I started again. Go out, have a feel of all these materials and all of the different stuff, the rods, the reels, the lines. Try and understand why everything's set up the way it is, and that's going to help you get better at casting and have more fun while you're fly fishing. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Tight lines. Now, if you enjoyed this video, go and check out My Fishing Flies. They've got an amazing selection of flies. Everything that I used in this video is on their website, and you can use code VICEFLIES for 10% off. Go and check them out.